Libero.
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 Libero. That's the proper way to say it in Europe. That's where it came from.
Nebraska now on top.
Come a-running, boys, don't you hear the noise? Like the thunder in the sky. How it rolls along in a good old song from the sons of Nebraska. Now it's coming near with a rising cheer that'll sweep all foes away. So with all our vim, we're bound to win, and we're going to win today. In the days of old, Johnny Vanderbold would just take that ball in hand, and with Benedict right in front of him, they would set sail for the land. Then Doc Eager too, with a chosen few, would be all round everywhere. And before they'd quit, they would calmly sit down behind that goalpost there. For Nebraska and the Scarlet, for Nebraska and the Cream, though they go through many battles, our colors still are seen. And so the contest and in midstream, we will wave them for the team, and we'll always stir a Cornhusker, the Scarlet and the Cream.
She gets blocked. Harper Murray. Original. Thursday night. Come on.
Oh, we're good. All right, awesome. All right, welcome
Alrighty.
back, everybody. I'm Matt.
I'm Jimmy.
We are Two Average Guys. Sorry, we had a little microphone mishap there. Glad to be
It happens.
back. Heck yeah, it happens. Holy cow. So we have a few things to talk about today. I think the biggest thing that we want to talk about is going to be volleyball, obviously with
Yes.
big win yesterday. So we are going to talk about volleyball.
Final four.
Final four for the Huskers. We are on to the next round after beating Arkansas yesterday, which was quite the interesting match, if you will. But we'll get to that here in just a minute.
Yes.
We are going to talk a little UNO hockey here first as well. So go Mavericks. They played this weekend against St. Cloud State.
First place, St. Cloud.
Yep, first place St. Cloud in the conference. So we'll talk a little NCHC TV or NCHC hockey.
You can watch NCHC TV if you want. I did.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we'll talk about volleyball. And then what everyone else wants to hear about is football. Obviously, a lot going on around the football program right now with a lot of rumors circulating on who's coming, who's our next quarterback, all that stuff.
Transfer portal activity.
Portal. So going to be a fun show. Looking forward to having you. So let's talk UNO Mavericks.
Yes.
So I went to both games. I was at both games.
I did not. I watched a little bit Friday night, and I watched more last night than I did Friday.
Okay.
Because by the time I got to it Friday, they were down 3-1, and I know you said they played well. Tough. St. Cloud hadn't lost in the conference yet. I mean, they have now after last night. UNO gets a shootout win, which is nice. That was awesome.
Yeah, and Friday night's game. They played really well Friday. They got a couple really rough calls from the refs in that game.
I did see a lot on Twitter that I follow some pretty hardcore UNO fans on Twitter, but they were saying that there was a lot of bad calls.
Yeah, a lot of that they didn't call, and then they called a couple on UNO that just were not include 5-minute game misconduct, and that's not good when you got that kind of representation from the refs. And you got really the guy. If you know anything about hockey, they call the 5-minute game misconduct for cross check from behind. But
I saw the video of it.
yeah, and as much as he hit him from behind, but the guy turned his back last second, and if nothing else, you're going to call boarding there, not an actual check from behind. It was just he kind of rode him into the boards though. It was just such a weird penalty.
Like, you see the calls in college football as opposed to pro.
Yeah,
it's like they call so much more in college hockey, and they do so much review, and I hate it.
Yeah. I felt like normal NCHC refs. You're right, Dan.
Yeah, for sure.
Jamie. Yeah, I mean it was an absolute shit. I have never in my life. I've been going to games at Baxter since Baxter Open and UNO games in general. Never seen UNO fans throw stuff on the ice.
Yeah, I did. Well, and I saw it said a fan threw beer on the ice, and somebody had posted, "Oh, UNO fans throwing beer on the ice," and it was like, well, it was one.
Well, and it was one beer. I guess he threw it from the top level, from the second level, and chucked a Coors Light can. I'm like, if you're gonna throw water on the ice, just throw water on the ice. don't waste your $10 water. But then it was awful. I mean, it was really awful on Friday night. It wasn't really much better last night, to be honest. I mean, overall the refs. And in Friday night's game, they called a hold on Brock Bremer.
That was one that I saw
behind the net. And I mean, he got pulled down. He ended up on the ground. Brock Bremer's 5'6", 5'5". He ain't gonna knock anybody over or hold anybody from going anywhere. He's not that big. And the guy was much bigger than him, and he gets pulled down. And so that was $10 horse piss. But he gets pulled down. And the ref called the penalty on him for holding, and then they score their first goal right after that, like within seconds. And so I feel like the refs just did not do a good job of managing the game Friday. Maybe it was a little bit better Saturday, but they still did a horrible job Saturday night. It was just a really bad officiated game.
I need to get to a game. They've got a few weeks off now. I haven't been to a game as I can. Yeah. But I did see somebody said, can we do it like football rules? Can we decline when the other team gets a penalty because or can we just like not play it like it's a power play and just put first line out there, just run our normal lines, because it's like we don't know what we're doing on the power play.
Yeah, and it's funny, they had a better power play last night, a couple good power plays last night. They didn't score, but they also scored a 4-on-4 goal, which I don't know the last time they scored a 4-on-4, because if you ever watch UNO, they tend to kind of sit back as if they're on the penalty kill during the 4-on-4. But that wasn't the case last night. I mean, they were taking chances on the 4-on-4. They had a couple shorthanded opportunities. I mean, they did what they needed to do to put themselves in a good position in that game. And unfortunately, it wasn't enough to win it in regulation or overtime. But Kirby Proctor had a great game, scored a nice goal to get us the lead. Ty Mueller had just a fantastic game. And that
was a sick goal that he scored.
His goal was like right in front of us.
Oh, yeah. You said you were down at that end.
Yeah, so we were down at that end, and he shot the puck. And as soon as he lost sight of it, he threw his hands up. The puck wasn't even in yet. He threw his hand. He knew it was going in.
Well, he just pickpocketed that guy. I was like, that was brutal. I mean, I was a dece. You can't let that happen.
Yeah, but it was a great play by Mueller. He's really stepped it up this year. He's one of the best players on the team. He also went 16-7 in the faceoffs. And then Nolan Sullivan, their captain, he was 10-5. So they won the faceoff battle 29-22, and they also won the shots 33-23. So in the second period last night, St. Cloud didn't get a shot until there was 5 minutes left in the period.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
14:58.
I mean,
they got their first shot.
They've got a lot of experience on that team. I mean, it'll be interesting to see where they, what they look like next year. And some of those kind of super senior players like Matt Miller and Jack Randall.
Matt Miller didn't play last night. They were shorthanded last night.
I don't think Randall actually is a senior. I don't know if he was a
senior. Yeah, he's a senior.
Just some of those guys might be gone next year, so it'll be interesting. But they've got experience. They know what it takes.
They got a lot of young guys too.
I hope they can make it. Normally they're good at the beginning of the year, and then they kind of tail off and then miss the tourney. Yep. I'm kind of hoping that they, rear it up a little bit toward the end of the season. Yeah. And make the tourney.
Yeah, and Dan, like you said, when they're on the power play, they really, even when they don't try to get fancy, which they do a lot of that, they try to get fancy passes. They try to get the perfect shot rather than just getting a shot on net. And that's where, again, I didn't play hockey, but sometimes you see, and even as a fan, you're watching, it's like, oh man, he should have shot the puck there. He waited way too long, and then he shot it into a guy's shin.
You either have to get somebody in front screening, or you do kind of have to get like you go 5-4 to 4-3 to 3-2 to 2-1 until 1-0, and that's what you try to do. Yeah. But if you get too fancy with it, I get it. Sometimes you just gotta get the puck on.
And what they don't do well is get a guy in front of the net.
Yeah,
the guy they need in front of the net is going to be Sullivan or Miller. Those are the two biggest guys they're going to draft.
Miller didn't play. Was he hurt?
Miller's out. He's hurt. Yep.
Oh shit.
You talked to him, Dan. Yeah. So it's unfortunate he's hurt, but he's one of the better players. But he's a guy you put in front of the net.
Oh yeah, big body in front of the net for
very
sure.
Very big body. Him and Sullivan. And Sullivan is just. I've been very impressed with Nolan Sullivan this year.
Gosh, they could put Proctor in front of the net.
Mancini.
Yeah, one of those two guys.
But Sullivan's he has been a guy who's, I think, grown his game, especially from last year, where he's been able to really grow who he is as a player and his strength on the puck. He battles harder than anybody. He's going to go after that puck harder than anybody. Mm-hmm. In case you're talking about going to the dirty areas, I mean, that's Sullivan. He has no problem. Him and Bremer. Bremer has no problem going to the dirty areas either, but
I mean,
they're really, if you haven't seen a game yet, I mean, they're a fun team to watch. They do a really good job of controlling the puck. Again, their passing this year has been much better. They have a couple weak spots on their D, but overall, the Mavericks should have a pretty darn good season.
And they played St. Cloud at home, but they played at Duluth last week. They played at Denver, and they've gotten splits in all those. So I mean, you want to get a sweep here and there. I mean, you got to sweep Miami when you play Miami.
Yep.
Who else is down? I mean, Duluth is below them in the conference. They're 6th right now, but I mean, they're going to have some battles with CC. CC is looking pretty good. They got a sweep.
Colorado College,
they got a sweep at North Dakota, 2 overtime wins. Those are big wins. NCHA is it's always tough.
Yeah,
but
it's one of the best conferences. It's not going to get easier. Next year, you get Arizona State in the conference.
Yeah. And they're pretty good this year.
They're pretty good too. So UNO is going to continue to get good players. Chase Erdahl wasn't playing either last night.
Okay.
But they have some new guys. Ellis and Lancel were playing last night. Violi, one of their defensemen. They had some guys that really stepped up. And Mueller getting the goal in.
Did LeMay play last night?
LeMay played. He had some bad turnovers. He had a turnover
on Friday night that led to a goal.
He had a bad turnover last night, led to a breakaway. And luckily,
he's so slow.
Luckily we got Lacosi back there, and he made a nice save. But yeah, I mean, eventually you got to start getting sweeps. You can't just split every weekend. But conference play, I mean, you got to get points. You got to try to at least win in overtime. Shootout, you get the extra point, but you get more points if you win in overtime. So would love to see them get that. And then overtime was good. I mean, they played a good overtime period as well. Again, you're playing against St. Cloud.
They won in overtime last week, so tough. They're battling, I guess.
Yeah,
they're playing in some battles. So good to get a dub last night.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Luke. I mean, Bremer, man. Yeah, Bremer is mosquito. I love it. He's fun to watch. That dude. Again, he don't back down. He does not
he's
back
a small
down.
guy, but
he makes me not. I can't stand this guy in the NHL.
Don't say it.
But you know exactly what I'm thinking of. Who's the man to think of?
It's Marchand.
Yeah.
I hate Marchand.
Brad Marchand from the Bruins because he's just a pest on the ice, and Bremer's the same way.
If Marchand was on the Avs, I'd probably love him, but I hate him.
But yeah, he is a mosquito. He's a pest. He is out there, and he does his job really well on the ice, and he can also score. He's also a guy that can put the puck in the net. He's also a guy that's going to be able to get in the dirty areas and sometimes be better off in those battles because he's shorter. He can get down a little bit. He's down a little bit lower to the ice, anyways. But yeah, you can get it. You can get a lot of scoring chances out of the corners too. So we got to win in the dirty areas, win in the corners. Again, I've seen a lot of improvement.
That's right, Luke. He's on your team. You'd love him.
I've seen a lot of improvement from UNO, and I continue to see. I mean, Gabinet does a fantastic job behind the net. Noel Bernier. I mean, they have, I think, a good coaching staff too. Keep pushing. I mean, keep getting some wins. We got a few weeks off here for the Mavericks.
Get Miller healthy.
They're going to be down the desert to start the new year in a desert tournament.
Who did I say they were playing?
UMass Lowell.
Oh, that's right. They play UMass Lowell, and then it's Harvard, I think, and Arizona State. So,
that'll be hopefully some good hockey.
That'd be fun to go to. Anybody want to pay for us to go?
Anyone want to?
Or does anybody want to pay for us to go to Tampa this week?
There you go. But yeah, so Mavericks, if you haven't seen a game yet this year, or if you have, keep going to support the team. I mean, the fans there, I felt like there weren't as many fans last night as there were Friday, but Huskers were playing too.
Volleyball was on.
But the crowd was into it, man. The crowd was loud. They were excited.
Yeah, the crowd's always into it. That's why I like going to the games. Yeah. It's not quite like it was at Civic. Civic was just the best ever. But no, the UNO fans are good.
Yeah.
I mean, they're aside from throwing beer on the ice, I guess. But no, the crowd's always into it. Get the cowbells going.
I do think it's kind of funny though in college
Unleash
hockey,
the fury.
In college hockey, again, the rules are so different from the NHL. So like last night, NCHC puts out there, they lose the SCSU loses the extra point in overtime, but they remain unbeaten. I'm like, technically they lost. Technically, you still lost, even though you lost in a shootout. It's still in the loss column.
It counted as a loss on their record.
Yeah, but they're still 7-0-1 or something.
They have they have the same overall record as UNO, 9-5-2.
Yeah, so. Yeah, but they said unbeaten in the conference. I'm like, well, technically they got beat.
Yeah,
technically
they really did.
Yeah, Dan, you like Gavs, but he plays not to lose.
They do play not to lose sometimes. That is true.
Yeah, and I think if their defense was a little bit better, I wouldn't have as big of a problem with that. But I hate when teams do that anyways. You play to win the game, right? But yeah, I do think they've underachieved.
I mean, I can understand if you got a lead in the third period, halfway through the third, and D's not pinching nearly as much, but it's tough.
With two guys on their D, we've talked about it already, Proctor and Mancini. Those guys, I love it because they're starting to get up in the offensive zone.
Okay, that's good to hear.
And they're starting to really push themselves to get in the offense and do a little more from the D side, which is great to see. Mancini is such a big dude, and so is Proctor. Those guys are studs. Proctor's goal again last night was fantastic. Anytime you get help from your D like that,
that was a sweet goal. I did see the highlight of that.
You're gonna win more games, and so again, you got to keep pushing and. Last year, we've talked about it last year, towards the end of the season, I think they got swept at Colorado College. I think they split with Miami. I think they lost to teams they shouldn't have been losing to at the end of the year, and then they lost both games at home to North Dakota
when they were
in a down year.
Well, and UNO was the 4 seed, and North Dakota was the 5.
Yep. So we ended up losing to them at home.
Right.
We lost
because we got a home ice advantage for the first round, which I don't think we'd had ever in a long time anyway. Not in the NCHC anyway.
Yeah.
And then we got beat by North Dakota. I was pissed.
Yeah, that was a rough.
Let's not do that again.
Yeah, but to Dan's point, that was the underachieving because last year was a year that they really should have been able to get that next step.
They should have been in the tournament. They were a tournament team last year. They flopped right at the end.
Oh, they did win the first game against North Dakota. That's right.
Oh, that's right. They lost in 3.
They should have swept. Yeah, they should have swept.
They lost in 3. That's right.
Unfortunately. But
that hurt even more. Because then they won on Friday.
And North Dakota fans are insufferable. Oh, my gosh.
They are.
All right. So, good hockey talk. Love it. Want to keep doing that.
Yeah, I'm glad we had a lot of people chatting about it.
Yeah, big hockey fans. So, appreciate it, Danny, Casey, Jamie out there. So
I got to get out to a game.
Yes.
So next time they're in town, I don't know what.
I've invited Jimmy a couple times, just FYI.
We have so much going on, man. This weekend I couldn't.
so much going on. Much more important things apparently.
Friday was.
Yeah, that's
Friday
true.
was.
That's true. Touche. All right, now let's flip the script here. Let's talk about our sponsor, Backswing Brewing.
Yes.
Again, just want to say thank you to Backswing Brewing for the beer. Love being able to support Backswing. And
I got one, and we got our new koozies here.
Yeah, we got some new koozies as well. So we'll be doing some giveaways eventually for the koozies. Where do we sit at Baxter? So my dad has season tickets. They're kind of behind the net, just a little offset to the right in section 121, whatever the one is right behind the net. And he's got 2 tickets, so we usually don't sit there, though. Usually we try to find a spot on the rail to where we can either sit or stand around the arena. So either in that same section, 121. Last night we stood in 120. Last night we were in 120, standing and sitting in 120.
season tickets in the club level, and he would only go once a week, and he would always give me the other ones, whichever night they didn't want to go. And so I always had good seats in the club section. And then his wife said no more this year. So
yeah. Well, Dan and Luke, you're both in 122. Absolutely, we'll find you next home game. We'll come find you.
I'll try to come out.
Make
for
sure I'll
home
bring
game.
Jimmy along with me this time, and Brian if he's available too. We'll all come.
I'll have to look and see when that is.
We'll have a beer together. But yeah, 122.
Several.
Yep. So right behind the net. Yeah, my dad's in 122 as well. So yeah, we'll come find you next home game. All right, volleyball.
Yes, let's get
Holy
into it.
cow! Let's talk about volleyball. So last night, the first set.
Ooh, they played Denver next home
game.
Yeah.
The first set against Arkansas last night was, dare I say, we got lucky. Oh my God, I've never seen Nebraska pass so bad to start off, and just in general, their passing was awful. So just so you guys know,
in the first set,
just so you guys know, I don't think Jimmy watched any of it because
I will get to it.
Yes,
just
okay,
go
we'll
on,
get there.
and then I'll get to it.
Okay, so first, let's talk about first set. Then Jimmy can tell you about him not watching. So Arkansas was winning the entire game. At one point, they were up 6 or 7 points. And Nebraska just couldn't do anything. Harper Murray, every time she went to hit the ball, she hit it long, hit it deep, hit it out, got it blocked. She was trying to be perfect. Lexi couldn't pass.
She's had a few of those moments this year.
Yeah.
I mean, she's only a freshman, but then
nerve, right?
Yeah, and on the flip side of that,
yeah,
she can be unbelievable.
She can be, and then she picked it up in the second. Laney Choboy is diving all over the damn court to get the ball. Say lost us, Brian. Hold on, we're gonna try to get the feedback. Sorry, not sure what happened. Okay, can you guys got us? Pooh said lost us on the YouTube, or is going in and out on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Casey, you got us?
Sorry.
Do you show your live?
Do you have to refresh it?
Yeah, we're trying a new platform. Bummer.
Very impressed so far.
It says gone again. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, we're gone.
Well, shoot.
It said it was making my phone overheat.
Huh.
Not sure what's going on.
Really?
It's back on here now, so
okay.
It might be a little delay.
All right, so we might be back. All right.
That's weird.
All right, we're back.
Anyway.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Casey. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, everyone. New platform. We'll see if we continue using this one. But with volleyball, again, Laney's all over the court, diving around, making plays, saving the ball. And really in that first set, she made a couple really good plays, and then we sailed the ball out of the
Yeah, that one that she had, they was all over everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And then then we lost that point.
So
it kind of sucks. But all right, here's the deal.
Well, so first set we win, which was fantastic.
First set we win.
Amazing.
Okay?
So with that happening, I think we just stole the momentum. We stole the wind right from their sails, and that just really helped us.
So
Go.
All right. So I don't have ESPNU. Didn't realize it until 4:58. And I mean, I can't really complain because it's ESPN I get from somebody else.
Yeah.
So they don't have ESPNU. I guess I can't be mad at them because they give me their logins.
Yeah.
So that's fine, right? Well, I was pissed, couldn't watch it. And then so I messaged you guys and you said, do you have ESPN Plus? No. Well, then you gave me your credentials for ESPN Plus. And I'm about to sign in. But we came back and won that first set.
Yep. Because I told Jimmy, I'm like, maybe you don't want to turn it on. They're getting their asses whooped.
Right. Well, I'm very superstitious. First set, they came back and won. So I said, well, I might as well not watch.
It's true.
Because if I watch, then they're going to lose. It's true. And to be fair, when we went to the Northwestern game, on the way back, they were playing Wisconsin. And I had it on in the computer, or I had it on my phone in the car, and we were losing. I turned it off and we win.
Nope.
So, again, I guess I'm stitious about it.
There you go, stitious.
I know Brian said when they lost the third set, he said, turn your TV on. I thought maybe I thought we were about to win or something. I'm like, you want me to turn it on? Oh, no, I lost a set. But
Ryan Thomas, welcome to the show. I'm getting your comments. I'm guessing you're Pootie and you're watching on YouTube, but I see your comment. Yeah, it was on. That's what I told him. Dude, it's on ESPN Plus. Yeah.
Oh, I gotcha. That's funny.
His YouTube name isn't Pootie. But yeah, so you should go see Grandma to watch next time.
Yeah.
On X. And second set, they came out just on fire. I think they started off in like a 7-0 lead.
Yeah, it was. It was something. It was like 11-2 or something. 11-4.
Again, I think they stole all that momentum from the first set, and they took it into the second set to win.
Yeah,
and it was pretty dominating. I mean, that second game,
25-14.
Yeah, it absolutely dominating that second set. Then we get to the third set, and that one was intense.
They got up, and then there was one time where it wasn't updating very fast, and I almost did turn it on because I was getting kind of frustrated. And by the time it updated, we were down by like 3 or 4, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
So that was kind of frustrating.
Yeah,
they clawed back in that one, but
and again, they got off to a big lead. Arkansas did.
So, I mean, they're the best of the best.
And that's one thing about volleyball. You don't have a lot of parity in volleyball.
No.
You don't have if you get upsets, it's going to be early in the season, very early in the season.
Right.
Look at like Penn State. Penn State was in the top 10, I think, early in the season. Then they got knocked down to like 12 when we played them. I think they were 12, but they just weren't. They weren't consistent enough.
Yeah, and they're tough. I mean, when we played them out there, it was tough. It was a tough match.
But yeah, so after I think it's something where you have to look at those teams, and you are with the best of the best of the best.
Mm-hmm.
And the Final Four, Dan, Final Four is going to be amazing.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, look at
Stanford was the only one that got beat.
Yeah, and look at the
1 seed anyway.
Yeah, look at the
Texas, 2-seed Texas.
Texas is probably the worst team in the Final Four, to be honest. And they're not a bad team.
They're good.
They're not great. They're definitely not a bad team, but they're probably the worst.
Pitt's good
in the Final Four.
And Wisconsin. I mean, Stanford coach. He always just looks like a pissed off. I don't like him.
Anyways, I'm not a fan of him, but I'm glad Louisville is out. Pitt had to come back down. They were down 2-0, and they ended up doing a reverse sweep. So that was pretty cool. Really good for Pitt. So we got Pitt next. That's who we're going to play on Thursday.
Yeah, tough.
So it's going to be tough, but it should also be really fun. So looking forward to it.
And if we win, it's probably going to be playing Wisconsin. And that's, the only team to beat us this year. We beat them. It'd be, best of 3 for championship, essentially.
Yep.
And we lost to them in the championship a couple of years ago.
Yep.
So
it could be. I really hope it doesn't come down to. I would love to play Texas instead.
The only thing is if you lose to Texas, I'd be more upset. I mean, I guess I don't know. Wisconsin just got those tall girls.
Man, they got a 7-footer on their team.
Yeah, they're good.
But a couple shout outs from the game yesterday. We had Becca Alec. Becca Alec had
unreal 12
blocks
in one match.
12 blocks in a match, and 8 for Merritt Beeson. So together they had 20 of their 32 blocks. Merritt Beeson.
And that's a block for a point. That's not just a block.
Yes.
You could have an amazing block that comes back up.
Yes. And Merritt Beeson had 19 kills, and Harper Murray had 15. So
damn, 19 is a lot of kills. 19 kills and 8 blocks.
Yeah,
man.
Talk about you're
how many set assists did Bergen have?
40.
That's good.
Yep. Lexi had 8. Again, for how bad they started in that first set, that was really, really cool to see them come back. Because they really, again, they're passing, they're setting, everything was just so off. And they kind of went back to that in that third set. In the third set, again, their passing was off, their setting was off. They weren't digging the ball. They're finding the holes. Arkansas, I'm like, oh shit, they got us figured out. They're hitting the holes. We're missing blocks. We were going up to block the ball, and the space between girl 1, girl 2, it was 2.5 feet or so, 3 feet sometimes. So there was so much space between where we're. So Annie Jackson actually played pretty well, but you could tell some of the nerves from the young girls, from the freshmen. And so she was off her game.
There's no seniors on the team. They have some experience, obviously. Lexi is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But, they're young. And they're in a spot now to make something pretty special, and they could. There already is 6 Final Fours in the last 9 years.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, and we're still selling out the Bob. They're talking about making some renovations and getting more seats in there.
Yeah,
there's just the Nebraska volleyball team is absolutely amazing. Wisconsin, they may be our kryptonite, but one thing that I'm really excited about is not just this year and what the team has already achieved, but what they're going to be achieving the next 4, 5, 6, 7. They're going to continue to achieve and have great results, even if Cook is gone at some point in the next 10 years, which he might not be.
Who knows?
There's so much.
He doesn't really have much left to accomplish.
He doesn't, he just loves it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome to love your job, get paid well, and win.
And what more could you want than what you have this year? You have a good mix of freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. Yeah. And you don't have any seniors. Talk about it. There's no way he's not coming back the next 3-4 years. Yeah. There's no reason why he wouldn't. Right. You're looking at least, I'm going to call it now, you're looking at least 2 to 3 championships in the next 4 years, including this year.
The only thing that is a bit tricky is there's a lot of local talent. It's really good. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be able to keep all that talent here because those girls aren't going to be able to play right away. Yeah. They're not going to be able to come in and right away and play. Yeah. We're not used to that in the football side.
Look at Whitney Lowenstein.
Yeah, exactly.
She was great for Nebraska. She doesn't play all of last season. She ends up leaving the team, and then she's now transfer portal. She was a great player.
Well, and what's the girl, Purdue, that it was from Elkhorn North?
Yeah,
I think
so. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's not going to play at Nebraska right away, but she can go play somewhere else. And Purdue is a decent decent team. I mean, Big Ten's all pretty good.
True.
But the only troubling thing is trying to keep local talent here. But they're going to have top recruiting classes every year.
Yeah,
pretty much
no,
no matter
absolutely.
what.
Oh.
So
Casey. So yeah, only way he's leaving Omaha is if New Pro team throws a bag and a half on him. Man, they might need to throw 2 or 3 bags on him, Dalton, to be honest. But is he the next AD, Luke? I don't know how long Trev's going to be around. That's actually a really good point.
That's a good question.
Very good question.
The only thing is Trev's probably younger than Cook.
I think he is, and I don't know if that's what Cook wants, but you never know. Anything could happen. He loves Nebraska, which is great.
I've walked through his house in Lincoln.
Okay, there you go.
He wasn't there. His wife was there.
So speaking of Cook, did he get tackled in the Georgia Tech game? Seen a clip where he said his football career has been okay. So this is what happened. Laney Choboy happened. Casey. So there was a ball that was coming behind the bench, and he saw Laney coming. And he was telling her, no, like, you're not going to get it.
She said, I would have gotten it.
Yeah. She's like, no, I'm getting this ball. And so instead of letting her dive for it, he basically caught her because you got to have 1 foot on the court.
Oh,
1 foot in play.
I guess I didn't know that.
So there's no way she was going to make that play, even if she dove. And so he's like, he ended up talking to her, like, you have to have 1 foot in.
Okay.
But that's just.
She said I would have gotten it.
Yeah. So that's what he was talking about. He's like, he said she's solid, or she's she's a handful, something like that. Because, I mean, she just ran right into him, and he went and caught her. He goes, I'm a little sore today. But that's what he was talking about, football.
That's funny.
So that was really funny. But
he's pretty witty. Like, he's dry wit.
Super smart. Yeah, super smart. But, yeah, Laney ended up taking him out, and he had to catch her.
That's funny.
But that is the team he has in front of him, is a team of girls that are not going to give up. They are not going to just let someone come in and push them around. Yep. And that is what we saw yesterday, and that's what we're going to continue to see against Pitt. Yeah, and that's what we're going to see after that against Wisconsin.
The one thing I will say that will be interesting is, it's a comfort thing playing at home for a lot of young girls. I feel like, right, it has been. They struggle in the first set, but they get through it, and then so obviously they can't play the championship at home. Or,
now we're at a neutral site.
You're at a neutral site. I mean, Nebraska fans will travel. So
they're also 32-1. So they've played on the road. They won on the road.
I know. It's gonna be a lot of nerves early, and some of the girls have been there, but a lot of them haven't.
Yeah.
So
the stage is set, and it's going to be a nervous stage for a lot of those girls. But a lot of these girls also won state championships. If we can get a show together next week at Backswing Brewing, we're going to
for the championship.
Yes. If we win, the championship is at 2:00 Central Time next Sunday. So if we can figure something out, we would love to get some people together for some volleyball.
I have anything going on, but
it's a normal showtime, Jim.
I know it's normal showtime, so we should be fine.
You got this going on.
We should be fine.
Anyways, volleyball doesn't take nearly as long as a football game. So,
I said YouTube's perfect, but Facebook Live keeps buffering.
Yeah, we're getting the same, Jamie. We're gonna have to check out the feed and figure out what's going on. So appreciate the feedback. That helps us. We want to be perfect for everybody, and
I mean we are average, but we want to be perfectly average.
Perfectly average. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it the app?
I don't know.
I think so.
So there's a lot.
McCord and Fleming are visiting.
They're visiting Lincoln this week,
which is a good sign. I think.
Everything right now is pointing to McCord and Fleming. It's a package deal coming to Lincoln. The argument or question and stuff I've seen is he a good fit for the team for his style of play?
Right. He's not very mobile.
He's not. And when was the last time we didn't have a mobile quarterback? Never.
Tanner Lee.
Tanner Lee.
No, he sucked.
And really, Thompson wasn't much of a.
Yeah, he could run though.
He just wasn't much of a runner.
He just didn't
do
want
it
to.
often. But
if
Tanner
he did,
Lee,
he could do it, and he looked pretty good doing it.
Yeah, Tanner Lee was probably our last immobile quarterback.
He got drafted. We sucked.
So
we sucked.
We sucked. So that begs the question: if we're bringing in a guy like McCord and Fleming.
At the end of the year, and just better this season than we have been the last couple. They weren't great, but they were better.
Yes.
You have to be able to establish a run game, which we have great running backs. I mean, guys are entering the portal because they know they're not going to play. They know they're not going to play, not anytime soon, because we're so deep at that position. Even though we had a couple guys get hurt, we had young guys step in, and we're great. You establish a run game, you get a play action. You open up a play action passing game.
Mm-hmm.
You have a guy that can throw the ball with time, then he could be pretty good.
Pretty dangerous.
He could be pretty dangerous. We could be pretty dangerous. You got to have a good O-line. You got to have a good run game. And, I mean, how many times we miss open receivers or miss that there was an open receiver or just scramble out, or take a sack, whatever you want to say.
Throw an interception,
fumble the ball. He keeps. I think he'd be pretty good. And I know people are saying, well, he got ran out of town by the fans for going 11-1 because he lost to Michigan and he was average all year. If we would have had him this year, we would have won 8 games minimum.
He got ran out of town by his coach.
Well, that too.
I mean, his coach is like, I don't know who's starting the bowl game. I don't know who's going to start the next. Like
that doesn't make any sense.
Your quarterback, your team.
You lost one game, and they were in that game. They lost by 6 points.
Yeah, and you blame the players instead of your coaching staff. You and your coaching staff. Like,
and I know
what's your game plan?
I know his dad said he didn't want to go to a lesser Big Ten school. What, you gonna go to Michigan? It's the only that's the only other tier out.
Yeah,
But,
Penn State or Michigan, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, and Penn State would be kind of a lateral move, maybe a step down. And he also said he didn't want to play Ohio State next year. How about you come here, work your butt off, and then go win at Ohio State next year?
Fuck yeah,
that'd be amazing. They're going after Howard too. Howard's a little bit more of a mobile quarterback, but he turns the ball over too. He fumbles too. So I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of all in hoping for McCord right now. Just have a guy with some experience. I know you're not going to have him long, but that's just kind of the look at how many quarterbacks are out there.
Yeah,
and how many quarterbacks have won the Heisman in the last 5 to 7 years? Like people that have won the Heisman is like 5 out of the 7 were transfers.
Yep. And I'm surprised Bo
I'm not saying that,
by the way. But
no, I knew Jaden Daniels was going to win. He was a transfer quarterback too.
So here's what I think. So Satterfield is probably our kryptonite here when it comes to a new quarterback. That and I know Casey, you mentioned it here, is his scheme is not good. My question is with Satterfield, if he has a quarterback like McCord who knows we can hit a pass,
right?
Does that make him a better offensive coordinator?
I think so.
And I think our run game is it's there. Use your fullbacks more. Use your tight ends in the block game. Pull your center. Pull your guards. You gotta get kind of creative. And I think we have we have the guys to do it. I honestly do think that, even though a lot of people talk shit on our offensive line. I think we have the guys to do it. We saw improvement this year. I think we'll see improvement next year. A lot of people crap on Raiola. We've done it before too, not thinking he's much of a developer, but we saw development this year. We saw more discipline. We saw better pass protection. We just didn't have the quarterbacks to be successful in that position. We get a quarterback who comes in, completed maybe 64, 67% of his passes. I think he threw maybe 4-6 interceptions, something like that. Again, over the span of a year, I mean, whatever. It's better than what our quarterbacks did. That's the thing. Did we have a quarterback throw for even 30%? I don't think so. He's an upgrade no matter what. And so, and you get an experienced receiver like Fleming. Yes, he's had field. Yeah. Your slot receiver, Billy Kemp, is gone.
He's gone.
But like another guy like him, it's the only thing that's going to do is I think boost the potential for our offense to move the ball downfield better. And not only you mentioned you established the run game and open the pass game, it go both ways too.
That's true.
Now you're successful in the pass game. You can
throw
open up the run game.
I mean, we couldn't throw deep ball this year. Yeah, we had a couple long.
We could throw it deep. We just couldn't hit the pass.
You can hit Coleman or Lloyd especially. I mean, if I know those guys are following each other on X or whatever. I mean, just show McCord some clips of Lloyd and say, "Do you want to throw this guy?" Uh-huh. Yes, and that's all you need right there because he can run. Yeah, hit him deep.
Yeah. So Ross, you're not a big fan. Whether we like it or not, I don't necessarily agree he's a good fit. But if he comes here, I got his back 100%. Purdy's probably. I mean, he wants to play. If McCord comes in,
he can battle for.
He ain't gonna beat out McCord. That's the thing.
I know, but he could. I don't know. McCord goes down. He's right there.
And Purdy could start. Purdy could play somewhere else.
He could.
He very well could.
If he would have started the whole season, we would have been bowling.
Yeah. Well, if he had the development that he deserved up until this year, he would have been better. But he wasn't getting that development. Harburg, 100%.
He wasn't even welcome in quarterback meetings.
Yeah.
So he played this year.
So one thing about Harburg, one thing I love about that guy is he's an athlete. He's big. Put him as tight end.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Can you imagine as a tight end?
If he's a tight end, he can make it. He can make it to league. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
And look at Zach Miller.
Oh, they're both on campus today. Okay. I knew they were coming to Lincoln. I didn't know what day it was.
I thought they said it was this week, but it is this week, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, Luke, sorry, we lost your comment on Omaha hockey. Go ahead and put there's always that improvement. Another thing Jamie mentioned too was Zane Flores.
Yeah.
Who played it?
I don't know if he's in the portal.
Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I don't know if he's in the portal though.
But he mentioned that there might be rumblings of him coming to Nebraska. So
Cam Ward's not coming here. I mean, it'd be great. I think so too, Ross. Yeah. But he's not coming here. He's going to probably go to Ohio State.
Was he Ohio State? I think he narrowed his teams down to like 4 or 5. I did see Jeff Sims is going to Miami to be their QB1.
Yeah, I saw that last night.
Okay,
he's going to be their QB1.
If that guy goes to Miami and he's successful, I'm going to fly down to Miami and punch him in the throat. We're so mad. Oh, yeah, that's right. Nuts. Jamie mentioned a spring transfer for Zane.
Yeah, sorry, Ross. We've been having trouble for a fair amount. Not a fair amount, but for part of
the feed's been kind of in and out, Ross. So we're going to take a look at that. A couple different issues there, but
it's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault. see. I'm on an iPad, so it works a little different. Here we go. Let's go. Here we go. All right. So Ohio State transfer Kyle McCord and Julian Fleming are currently visiting Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
As Pete Nakos.
That's on 3.
Nakos confirms both 5-star recruits. Yep.
Oh, okay. So that was within the last hour and a half or
Yeah.
so. Okay.
So again, I mean,
Good.
I do love all the reporting on it.
I don't know if Ward's going to Ohio State or not, but I don't know that we're going to get him.
No, I don't even know if we're after him, to be honest.
They flew out there.
Well, they wanted to talk to him, but I don't think we're on his radar.
Probably not.
So, again, I think everyone wants a portal quarterback. I think no matter who we get, if it's McCord, if it's Howard, I mean, we got to be happy what we're going to get because it's going to be better than what we have. Out of even those two options, those are both better than what we currently have.
And, a couple years ago when we went for portal quarterback, we got 2. We got Casey Thompson. We got got hurt, so
Yeah.
it's hard to say. But
And yeah, Casey, I'd agree. I would actually take Howard over McCord, 100%. I do, and the only reason why I feel like Howard's a better fit for the team and for our current offensive situation.
yes, but that hasn't really panned out over the last 10 years. He feels like the right guy, but we've thought that with other guys.
Yeah.
And they maybe were good, but they were either injury prone or we just didn't win a lot of games.
Yeah.
Or they were turnover prone.
We haven't won a lot of games in a lot of years.
I know. We've been doing this for a long time. We've won a lot of games during this time. But it's fun.
Yeah. So
The dream is always there.
So Jamie can't confirm it yet, but we have a receiver from Indiana.
Yes, and he's really good.
Here's
if we get him too, that'd be insane.
Here's what happens.
And then we get an offensive lineman or 2.
I said like Purdy to start. Give him a year to develop. Him, he's going to be even better.
Did we hire a quarterbacks coach?
I don't think we've had no. I don't think they're separating it yet. It's something that I think Rule is thinking about,
planning on doing.
Yep,
much needed.
Yes, but here's what's going to happen. You get no matter what next quarterback you get on. If you get a guy like McCord, all that rumbling with McCord, or even Howard, what you're going to do is you're also going to get receivers that are like in the portal, like, oh man, I now want to look at Nebraska.
That's why I think that you have to try to get McCord.
Yes.
And I'm not taking anything away from Howard. Yes, Kansas State has been better than us for the more successful last 4 years. Yes, I get it.
As have a lot of teams.
They won a conference championship. Last year. So, yes, I get it. But McCord, it just might attract more.
I think Howard would, though, too.
He might.
I don't know if he was a 4 or 5 star, but I know that he's a guy that people know. Everyone knows his name.
Yeah.
Everyone knows who Howard is. And
it would be okay.
Yeah.
And McCord can run. So, or not McCord, Howard can run. So I'm not against it.
Yeah.
I just want somebody that's going to be good. So as long as they're good, I'm cool.
Yeah.
I just think McCord is more of a, he took Ohio State 11-1.
Yeah.
They're right there.
Yeah. Any upgrade is an upgrade. Any quarterback is going to be an upgrade.
And those guys are all going to be 1-year guys anyway. So,
yes.
Who's going to be the best that can win us games and help Kalen and whoever else is going to be in that quarterback room to be better every day?
I want to have a quarterback problem to where we have quarterbacks leave because they're not going to get playing time.
Agreed.
And not in a bad way. It's because we have a talented quarterback room to where they're third on the list and they're also talented and they go and they're awesome somewhere. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I want to have that problem, and we don't have that problem. I don't think we ever have.
Holding on to the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so. It doesn't matter who our coach is, who the players are. We're turning the ball over. We need to change something.
You can't blame coaching on those turnovers.
I agreed, but we've done it with several coaching staffs. But I don't. Can you reverse what happened this year with bringing one guy in for a year and having those? I don't know. Maybe.
But
that'd be great.
Here's what's interesting about what Jamie said about a kid from Michigan State coming, Sam
Levitt.
Sam Levitt.
He's a develop. I mean, he's somebody that you have to
opportunity.
He's got 4 years. Yep. All the other guys in the portal are 1 year guys. He's the only one that's 4 years.
Yep. So he's a development piece.
He's a high school. It's essentially a high school kid. Yep. He hasn't played games. He threw a touchdown against us this year.
Yes.
He had played in 4 games.
But here's what you need to know when it comes to other teams in the Big Ten. If people want to stay in the Big Ten, Michigan State, whole. I mean, you thought Frost said some stupid stuff. This coach is talking about beating Ohio State next year. I mean, he's talking about coming in and just railing the entire Big East. And
I mean, it's not going to be the Big East. It's not going to be the Big Ten East next year. But
the current Big East, and it's hilarious. I'm like, man, I you've won some games, but come on, man, like you're at Jackson State or
I don't even know where he came from.
Yeah, he came from not Jackson State, James Madison.
Oh, that's right,
dude.
Madison.
You just came from James Madison. You're already coming in.
Yeah, they've been a pretty productive FCS school for the last several years, but
whole different ball game, my man.
It'll be interesting.
Is he going to be your next Dion?
Just talking trash every week. They did get that offensive lineman, unfortunately, that number 1 offensive tackle.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Dude, they still got to go out and perform.
Well, he'll just go there for a year and then enter the portal and go to the SEC probably. So,
well,
well, that's the thing. But if you go somewhere else that you can play this year, you can make a shit ton of money and go to whatever school you want.
Did you see the Marvin Harrison Jr. discussion on money? They're talking about how much he can make.
If he can come back. Because they said he might come back.
They said if he comes back, he can make anywhere from $30 to $40 million.
What?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. They're talking about like with endorsements, NIL, and all this stuff. He'd make more than he would coming into the league.
Oh, for sure.
How stupid is that?
That's insane. They've got to fix something on that.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. And it's not even a rumor. It's true. And that is absolutely asinine.
The thing that's crazy about that is how many times has something like that happened? Somebody came back and then they just weren't as good.
But
they weren't nearly as good. Or they didn't win a championship.
Why wouldn't you just go to the NFL? Like, why are we trying to retain?
There yesterday.
I know. What the hell is he? I don't get it.
What's going on there?
I don't know.
He's only got 1 year left.
But why do you want to continue to be in school when you can go play in the league?
Because you probably don't really have to do much school-wise.
Man.
And then you just
I take one class, I think.
You just make money and then...
But yeah, so Ross,
if you're a super senior, you probably have to be in grad school.
Yeah, so those rookie contracts, I don't know if the NFL is going to bite on that. I'd be surprised if the NFL isn't being like, what the hell are you doing, college? How did you screw this up so bad to where you got kids in college making more than they're going to make in the league? How do you screw it up that bad?
18-year-olds that are making more than Brock Purdy.
They're getting paid for potential. They're not getting paid for play.
Yeah.
Well, right now it's paid for potential rather than name, image, and likeness is not what people are getting paid for. They are getting paid to play.
Yeah.
It is semi-professional football. That's what this is. That's what it's turned into.
And they're making more than a lot of the pros are.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you stay?
Jamie, we had a firing of a recruiting specialist. He called a commitment and told we didn't have a spot for him. Oh.
It said he resigned, is what I saw.
Oh, yeah, that was a forced resignation.
But was that crisp? Because he decommitted, and I heard that it wasn't that he decommitted. It was that he was told that he didn't have a spot.
Yeah. Yeah, about 20% making more. Yeah, again, it's just I don't understand. Again, the whole NIL deal, it's just
weird.
It's way out of hand. And the NCAA is not doing anything to try to cap it or say anything about what you can and can't do.
No, because they dropped the ball. They should have had regulations set in place to start. I mean, it can benefit teams that need it.
I don't care that
it's just a free for all.
I don't care that players get paid. I care that players are getting paid before they even step foot on the field. They're getting paid when just to play football.
Well,
that is semi-professional football.
Why couldn't before it was why couldn't they go do an autograph signing and make $500?
Yeah.
Because they can't work. They can't get a job. They have school and football is their job.
Yeah.
So they can't have a job. But why couldn't they go sign autographs, say hi to fans, do whatever with the kids, maybe go to a car dealership and sign autographs so that car dealership sells a car that day. Whatever. Yeah, sure. That's cool. But it's way out of hand.
Yeah. So Dakota Haberland is the one who had to,
I read that.
quote unquote resign.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like a forced resignation to me. So
yeah.
But
so he told a kid that we didn't have a spot for him. It had to be that.
That's rough. That's rough.
I mean, it is, but I remember that day in my hockey days. I remember guys committing, and then they got a phone call that, hey, you don't have a It's competitive. I mean, it's competitive sports, but I don't know how exactly that went down. So.
Yeah. So the NIL game's out of control. It's never going to be back in control. I don't see the NCAA stepping in right now. Again, not because you can't come in and start setting some boundaries, but because they're that incompetent that they won't.
Right.
It's not that they can't. It's because they won't, and they haven't done anything yet. They're not going to do anything now. So, with that said, what you have to do now is take advantage of it. Take advantage of the transfer portal.
Exactly.
Take advantage of NIL.
Somebody like a Nebraska needs to.
Yeah.
In football, anyway, not in any of the other sports.
Yeah, and that's where it's going to help you is if you have the right guys able to take control and really focus on who's in the portal, where they're going. I mean, the amount of people in the first 3 days was over 1,100 people in the portal. I mean, that's absolutely insane.
It is.
So it's like if I hit the portal and I'm one of
10 quarterbacks,
200. Dakota State's, your James Madison's, because which again, they're still playing football. It doesn't mean they can't be drafted. But
I mean, they could go to Rice.
Yeah.
McCaffrey did, or they could go to North Texas, or MAC, or Conference USA, Mountain West, whatever.
Yeah. Well, and look at, like Ross says, they've always been paid. Yeah. I mean, look at look at Reggie Bush. Again, you go back to Reggie and his family, what they got.
He's wanting.
He wants his Heisman back.
He wants his Heisman back.
Which he's been doing that for a while. But look at guys like Reggie Bush. You had the whole Tennessee fiasco with money being handed over in McDonald's bags. The Texas A&M fiasco about Jimbo Fisher saying, "No, we're not dealing money to kids, this and that," and millions of dollars that he just denied. And it's like, well,
yeah, and then he didn't give those players.
Yeah.
Like exactly. They were promised money and they didn't get it.
Yeah. So
they all left.
Jimbo's an idiot. And a third string. And guess what? Their second string quarterback is going to be playing. No sound still.
What?
Their second string quarterback is going to be playing in their bowl game if they play their bowl game.
Well, yeah, I mean they're playing. If they play, they're playing Georgia.
You guys getting sound? Click, 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 click. Good now. Thanks, Ross. My phone's at 5. Yeah. Okay. So we gotta hurry this one.
We do have to rush it.
So here's what's gonna happen. I think Michigan, Alabama. I'm just gonna say Michigan because I want Michigan.
Me too.
I don't care. And Texas, Washington actually could be a really good game. I'm looking forward to that game.
So
I think Texas is probably a little stronger on their lines, offensive, defensive line.
Penix is good.
Penix is good, but Penix, is he that good or is he Pac-12 good? That's going to be the question.
Yeah. Well, Big 12 kind of known for pretty good offense. Florida State, Michigan could have been a good game. Florida State, Michigan could have been a pretty good game. It could have been tight going into the second half. Michigan probably would have worn them down and ended up winning a bruiser type of game, I think.
But you play the game. It's one on the field.
Yeah.
And to have 13.
It's not one because you're Alabama. It's not one because you're Georgia.
We all know this was a money decision. It had nothing to do with
ESPN SEC decision.
And people like ESPN had nothing to do with it. Who do you think hired the committee? Who do you think put the committee together? What is all the shows on? Where all this money is filtering to ESPN? All the games are on ESPN affiliated stations.
Mm-hmm.
That is where all the power is in college football and these decisions.
Yeah, there would have been so many people with money in those institutions in the South that would have crucified ESPN, and they couldn't let it happen. They're cowards.
Yeah, Dan, I don't disagree. I do think Alabama's probably going to beat Michigan. I hope they don't, but we'll see.
I just don't want Alabama to win the national championship. I don't care if they beat Michigan. Just
beating Alabama again, to be honest. Yeah.
I don't love Michigan, but
bowl games start next Saturday, so we got more football coming up. We're gonna have a show next Sunday. We don't know if it's gonna be a volleyball show or if we're just gonna be done. So we'll see. We'll see what happens next Sunday. We'll keep you posted. We got to go. Phone's about to die for Brian. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Sorry about all the ins and outs for the feed, but the officiating is gonna be interesting to see. Appreciate it, Ross.
That is very well stated.
Again, I'm Matt.
I'm Jimmy.
We are Two Average Guys. Go Big Red. Go volleyball Thursday. Tune into the game Thursday against Pitt. Maverick hockey got a few weeks. Then football, we'll see what happens with quarterback and receiver positions. So thanks, guys.
Keep you posted. Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it. Go Big Red.